songs, but they're okay with the clips from movies.
I don't know.
They're very
I didn't write the internet.
Revenge.
They're very confusing.
Why are you
Favorite
asking me
movie?
these questions? They're so hard.
It's actually the only DVD he
So
owns. It's weird.
hard. Happy
So-
Tuesday, guys.
Happy Tuesday, Jesse. Happy Tuesday, Matt.
I can't hear
Happy
myself
Tuesday.
in my headphones. Can you?
Can we
Happy
pretend like
Tuesday.
it's
Some
Saturday,
engineering.
which I thought was when I was going to be here?
Do
Let's
some
pretend like it's
engineering on the
Saturday.
fly.
Yeah, this is a weird night altogether because
Mm,
it's been jacked around and moved around. We said what?
Diddled with.
Diddled with. This has been a year and a half in the making,
Yeah.
it seems.
poked and prodded.
It's been
Off
flipped
and on.
over.
It's been
Yes.
rescheduled.
Our
9,
people, your
10,
people.
12.
A lot of
47
people,
times.
A lot of people might be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so Chance Morgan's fault from Morgan's
Yeah.
Mercantile, who's having his opening deal."
That's who we'll blame it on. We'll just blame it on him.
Blame it on
I like
Chance
that.
Morgan.
You just
Don't
slid that in there,
blame
that
it on
promo?
me.
You see that?
I
See
like
how
that.
did that?
I'm gonna go there before I go see the spectacle at Tin Panther.
All the cool people.
I'm going to go set all my
the
gear up
cool
and then go.
people.
I have a kerchief
Hey, I
from the new Panther.
You
City.
do?
want to go there.
I want one of
want
those
to go
Panther
to
City
there.
T-shirts. Is what I want because all the kids are wearing them.
I've already slept in
What
my
is he
Panther City
saying?
T-shirt.
Why are you saying that, Tony Diaz?
Because aren't those sold at his store?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why.
At other places too.
Well, okay.
I've already gotten drunk in mine and passed out in it
Ooh.
Wow.
and
Okay.
vomited on myself. I've
See,
vomited
even,
on my shirt.
Even other people other than the cool kids are wearing them.
I wanted it to smell exactly like the
kidding, man.
chat room and the grotto. So that's what I did.
Mm.
Nailed it.
Now I just need to rub some asbestos on it, which now I'm aware of.
I mean, we're
The
in the
best
build.
is-
We're in the
You already
building
did.
for it, so let's
We
do
are.
it.
Let's do it. Let's get smashed and throw up everywhere. All right, so let's introduce everybody from radio. Let's go right to left. We'll start over here.
That's not your right. Oh, I am your right. I'm sorry.
I am the right.
Okay.
It's your
confused me.
left.
It was like I was looking in a mirror. I was like, okay, so I'm Sean Russell from the Cutthroat Finches.
Happy
Hello,
Tuesday, Sean.
Happy Tuesday,
Uh,
Sean.
Thank you.
I'm Tony Diaz with Panther City Exchange LLC and with Locavore.
No band.
Yeah, I'm in a band and we play every 10 years. We're called Goodwin. But I'm here representing all the little people. And by little, I mean short. And
Tony.
that's who I am.
Happy Tuesday, man.
Happy Tuesday to you guys.
Happy Tuesday,
You did
Tony.
a really good job on Saturday, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Although
was-
we'll get to that. I'm kind of upset about it.
Okay.
I'm upset
About the
everything.
results?
No, I'm upset. I think they're just using Tony.
I think they are too.
I think they are.
I
I
know
think
I
we
do.
need to.
Did you get any fat Skrilla from that gig?
You mean tacos?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yes, I did. I
They're
took
just
tacos.
making mad
I took
money.
tacos home to my wife, and she was more than happy with.
I like money
with the
a
results.
lot, but I also like tacos.
I like money
A
too.
lot.
We'll talk about that later for sure.
And then, last but not least,
I am Eric Webb, also from Cutthroat Finches, and also representing short people like Tony.
Yeah.
So,
Show people got to unite. You know what I'm saying?
that's-
well,
He's
this is
also
gonna be a
here to
short
represent
people night.
Oklahoma because nobody else would dare.
Oklahoma and the things
Muskogee.
and all of the
Mm.
deals.
You know what?
we weren't going to talk about that.
Both my great grandparents are buried in Muskogee.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I'm
Yes.
happy. But
So
I'm
let's
not
bring the
sorry.
room
yeah,
down.
I'll just stop. Let's,
No, they died years ago. It's all
okay.
good.
It's cool.
It's totally fine. In fact, they died the day the Huffer album came out. EP.
No,
Both of them?
my
Like
God.
at the same, like,
No, that
December
was when
5th.
my great grandfather passed away.
They were listening to Huffer and they literally died.
Yeah,
that's
what
probably
that's what killed them.
happened.
Oh my God.
They were like, "Is this what these kids are into these days?"
yes, die.
I thought when I got my first colonoscopy, the doctor was playing Huffer.
You did. You asked about
True
that.
story.
You talking about Fat Fingers McGillicuddy?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
How's your butt?
Oh well,
On this
it's
Tuesday.
time. It's almost time for another one. You mean after
Like
the
by
taco fest?
choice or like by necessity?
Yeah,
No,
how often
Oh,
are you
you know,
supposed
the
to have
doctors
these?
and the
Well, if you have
fingers.
history-
and,
Weekly,
If
apparently.
you have history every 5 years.
Hey, Diaz
And
will
had
do
to
it for
start
20
early.
bucks.
No, hold on.
Otherwise,
hold on.
it's
You start
30.
at 50.
Thank you. 30.
Hold on.
Um,
You have a
not
history of
cheap.
guys putting stuff in your ass?
No, the colon cancer is in my family,
Oh, okay.
so I had to start early. And I think you're supposed to do it every 5 years. So
Yeah.
rumor has it that that's what you're supposed to do.
5
I don't know if these
months.
Okay,
doctors know
wait a
what they're
second.
talking about or
I was
not.
going to say, how frequent are you going
You
and
just
getting
had
this
one
done?
2 years
Are you
ago.
enjoying
It
this?
wasn't 2 years. It's been a long time ago.
It was. We've only been doing the show for almost 6 years.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'll look it up. But I'm pretty sure I'm getting close.
I guess.
Time for the old.
Can we go?
Hey, Doc, can you pencil me in?
Yeah.
Who's your doctor? Can we do tandem?
Whoa.
Like, we should do a
Colonoscopies?
podcast. We've already done it on planes, trains, and automobiles. Do it while we're having a procedure done.
The
You
two.
know what?
If
That
I'm going to
involves
be
our
involved,
anus.
then we have to do it before Tuesday.
Wow, that's a rush. That's a rush job.
That's when I lose.
You got to
health
prep
insurance.
too. You can't be going
not
out on
ready
a
for
town
this.
the night
Someone
before.
in this room knows a doctor that can make this happen.
You have to drink a bunch of shit the night
That's true.
before.
Isn't it dye or something?
Yeah, it's like, and you can only drink white grape juice
I'm
I
booked
think-
up
water.
the rest of this month and next
Wow.
month.
for like the 24 hours
Then
before
I
or
guess we
something
can't
like
go
that.
do podcast.
That's the hardest part of it.
colonoscopies.
The actual procedure was enjoyable.
Why don't you?
Yeah, let's
You know
let's
what?
get to the
I
root.
heard-
I think that's the root of it here. What we're talking about.
So you
think-
can we could do this. We go under and have it done, and you just stand there with the microphones, holding them up to us, and then
Oh,
making fun of
boy.
us.
Up to your butts.
And then do they vacuum me out? Is it like a?
I think if they see something, they pull it out, right?
Oh,
I think that's
I
how
think
it
that's
works.
what the
Like
fasting
Tuesday's
and the
lunch?
laxatives and stuff is for, though.
No,
Like before you
that's
have,
what the,
That's fine.
the
you have to
that's
take
what the
all those
blowout
laxatives
So
formula's for.
before
to blow all that.
You don't have
stuff out.
anything in there,
bowl
man.
of corn blow.
So that's why they can see everything, and if they see something, I think they kind of clamp that bad boy on and pull it out and
Just
then
yank
look
it
at
out.
it. And they're like,
I
"What
think
is
you gotta-
this?"
You got to pay extra for that though. That's not covered.
That's not covered. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
What if they find gold?
Well.
Or the Holy Grail?
What if they find a cassette tape?
Or a Matchbox car?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Matchbox car.
probably more common than you think.
Or a moon rock?
Sir, the 16 bowls of
That'd be
fiber
a
flakes
stinky
are
moon
not
rock.
covered
You
by
beat me
insurance.
to it because I was gonna say the American flag that's on the moon. What if they find it?
That's not on the moon.
What if they find a bottle of whiskey?
We just did an entire album about that. It's not there. Like it didn't happen.
Yeah. How dare you?
Way to spoil things, Jesse.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think it might be there. I just wanted to interject for a minute.
What's that? What was it?
So we got a lot of things we got to get through tonight.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
gotta-
is there like a
we do.
set
I've-
list for this conversation, or are we
Wowzers.
just gonna
Is
bullshit?
there a rundown or?
we got a rundown.
Okay.
Oh, that's what a rundown is.
Can I
yes.
get a little bit more of myself? I'm sorry.
We stray away. We chase a lot of
I don't know.
rabbits.
How about
Yeah,
now?
I know.
Right off
I
the
feel a
cliff.
little
I've
bit
done
better
4
about
of
it. There you
these.
go. Thank you.
So, yeah.
The thing is, Jesse, we've gotten a lot of emails over the last couple of weeks to bring you down, and I keep slowly.
Hey, can I ask a question that I'm most fascinated with? Like, I'll be honest, my
Bring-
favorite part of
bring
the
me down, man.
podcast, like one of my favorite things, is the Robotronic song.
Oh,
What
yeah.
the hell is
I think
that?
we got another one
Oh,
now.
What
Oh,
a wonderful
it's funny.
segue.
I have not
bring
heard
that
this.
up.
Yeah, I think we
Like,
got one
what,
new one
what
today.
is that program?
So
I think that's the funniest shit I've ever heard.
I have been told by a few people we need to explain this better instead of just firing it off and going and
Mixtape.
laughing.
Mixtape.
So our buddy RoboTuner,
Red Punts.
What is that?
Red Ponce
What
from
is Red Pants? What is?
He used to do a podcast. He's in
He
a
does a
local band
podcast.
called Josh and the Jet Noise.
Okay.
He plays
Yes.
bass in that.
Okay. All right,
band.
I'm aware.
So he likes taking and he's in the chat
Likes?
room now. He likes taking our
Hi, Matt
podcast
Thomas.
and cutting it up and making songs out of it, auto-tuning the stupid shit we say because
There's a lot.
half the time
He has a
we
big
don't know what
bank.
we're saying.
He has a big bank of stupid shit that he can pull from, for sure.
So
And then he sends you the
Yeah,
amalgamation of various noises, and then you just replay them on the show.
yeah,
that's right.
So basically,
As little
everything
work
comes
from us as possible.
full circle.
There you go.
It starts here, it
And
goes
it
to
ends
him,
here.
and
It's a
it comes back to us.
of life.
There you
That's the way
go.
it works.
Little
That's the way
Lion
it
King
works.
action.
Now this one is 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
Oh man, can you get some Kleenex in case I cry tears of joy?
I don't think it's crying he's going to do, but
Yeah,
go ahead and get him
exactly.
Kleenex
There's some
anyway.
around here. We'll
There's some
find some.
tissues.
Get the Kleenex.
There's some tissues right over
Somewhere.
Tony's shoulder. He's not a soldier. Yeah, there's some. All right. Do we want to play this right off the bat since you brought it up?
I mean,
Yeah, might as well.
This is what I was hoping was here. I mean,
It's the whole reason
Now,
he's here.
none of us
It's
have
not
heard
lying.
this one yet. He just sent it over, what,
Like 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago.
Yeah.
None of us have listened to it.
okay.
And I kind of like doing it that way now. I used to listen to them beforehand, but now I like being surprised with everybody. So
So Matt, God, I hope
Kinda
there's
like
no
syphilis,
anti-Semitic
like-
shit on there.
it's
or
like
anything.
syphilis. Like you never know when it's going to be there, but like if it's there, it's like wow,
It's gonna burn.
I didn't expect that.
you know it's going to burn.
Okay.
Matt.
This song is called Shitholers.
Oh,
Oh
Great.
my God!
So
Right.
here we go.
I hope my
All
mom's
of us
listening.
weirdos in a hole writing shit constantly. Smells mighty green in here. Some really good talent. They cover a huge area. Shitholers. Shitholers. Shitholers.
I mean, it's in time.
Sort of.
I'm sure the fourth weekly doesn't keep track of
Mr. Panther City.
dick size. No lube in it. Is it full mass salute? you get that inch total?
Could be worth it.
Yeah, I'm in. I want to do it. Post pictures of yourself on his wall at like 4 in the morning. Shitholers. 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 What's the inside of a mushroom and cocaine bar look like?
You get to hang out with whores in front of the bathroom.
Oh, that was before you met me.
This doesn't look like a Twin Peaks. You've got these people out there grinding. Do not say the horse.
No, it's just whores.
Yeah, you get kicked in the balls if you say that. Fuck this, I'm just gonna take this off.
He's just a gorgeous tattooed gentleman.
You need to take a cold shower, man.
Thought you got excited.
Shitholers.
He worships you guys.
Shitholers.
This is comedy gold.
So many dudes did try the Tiger Woods fuckhole. They showed the video of him doing things with the kid.
Thought you got excited.
When I started pulling him again, though, I really like to see Tiger come.
That's when they go to Butler's cabin and do the
Skin fluid
exchange.
That
What?
gets weird. Yeah.
That's very touchy-feely.
Jeez.
Tiger touched so many people. Big meaty beefcakes. Yeah, I'm in. I want to do it. He got choked up.
If I bring home chicken wings, I can eat you out.
This country right now lacks redemption. It's like if you fuck Palpatine
Louis C.K.
and Kathy Griffin, you're fucked.
A lot of panting, a lot of sexiness. I do many things around town.
You're not in blackface. Shitholers. Shitholers. Shitholers.
They found a body in the ditch at the fairgrounds.
Shitholers. Shitholers.
Got dark.
Shitholers. Was riding through this world.
Bye, guys. I gotta get my brain checked out.
Screw your head. Shout out, Robinson over there.
God
That is
bless.
That was-
Thomas.
That is
Wow.
amazing.
That was a
What
dark
a
one.
wild ride.
So that's what he does.
Oh
He
man,
said
that was a dark one.
midway through the
Thomas.
show, he goes, "I've got so much gold for another song."
2 words, ejac.
That's amazing. I
That's
heard
it.
he's going to
I
start.
want to go ahead and give a special shout out to Nick McClanahan for some of the content that he helped provide on that. So
It's pretty genius,
thanks, Mitch Chocolahon.
Mr. Panther City. And I heard that RoboTuner's going to start coming to Wonder Crush shows and
Speaking of
recording
Wonder
some
Crush
of them.
shows,
And
That'd be awesome.
he's going to remix this.
hey, are
Not
you?
a proud moment, but yes. I'm joking.
No, that's totally a thing that should happen.
Oh, yeah.
because,
No, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, we're talking about it. I need to go rehearse.
Right now,
I mean, we have
You're
rehearsals
leaving?
starting at 9:30. I'm not leaving right now.
it's 8:56. Where's it at?
So what's your priorities then? Because it's
The bar?
This
Jerry
show,
Jones Town Massacre.
and you know the show goes
It's
till
the
10,
Wonder
right?
Crust movie watchers.
Who's giving you the better check?
Yeah. Which check is paying you for?
Who's paying your bills?
Because I saw a post on Instagram that said you guys are the most overpaid
joking, Jesse.
podcast in Fort
Jesse,
Worth.
we're joking. You can.
No,
Wait,
you
y'all
can
are getting
eject.
I
paid?
think she's about to throw a bottle at us.
Hey,
Shitholers.
Shitholers. Bam. No, okay, so
No. I'm going over there after the show. That's totally a thing. But Wonder Crust, I'm kind of excited about it.
it's tomorrow night,
It is tomorrow night.
and it's going to be at Mass.
It is.
We're going to talk about that here in a little bit, right? We're going to get into it.
Well, I know that
Well,
that
once you
you're
leave.
going to be.
I'm coming.
I'm coming.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
no, I'm
That's going to be a song now.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Gonna be
100%.
there.
Time code.
no, no, I'm staying for the whole show, taking pictures and
What-
everything.
What time does it kick off tomorrow night?
No, it's on Thursday night, I thought.
No,
Wonder
it's
Crust?
tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Are
It's
you a part of this
tomorrow.
whole organization?
I used to be part of Wonder Crust a little bit more.
It's tomorrow, but when I leave here this evening, I'm going over for rehearsal because we have the show tomorrow.
And I'm not at that. Wasn't my question. My question is,
That wasn't a
What?
question.
what time is it tomorrow so people can go and see it at Mass
9
at 9:00
o'clock
At
right.
Mass.
at Mass?
at Mass.
We got
Gotcha.
that taken care of.
Metallica's playing.
Mandatory Metallica?
There's comedians beforehand.
Yes.
There are.
One
Full contact.
is Tony doing his stand up.
I'm not doing stand up.
Is
think
Matt
Brian is.
Stubbs doing his stand up?
Nope, not tonight.
Matt Stubbs, I have a
Not
question for
tomorrow.
you. Are you retiring from stand up after Saturday
Mhm.
at Taco Fest?
Yep.
We're making a video about Taco Fest. We shot a lot of footage,
Yeah.
got a bunch of interviews, and we have you
Let's talk about Taco Fest.
performing 2 sentences of stand up.
Yeah. After 7 margaritas
with a little.
Only
5
only
beers.
2 lines after 7 margaritas.
Yeah. First
Expected
lesson of
more.
comedy and stand up: don't go up there buzzed.
So many comedians can do it on coke
Well, I'm sure I could do that.
and
So,
drunk.
Can I
We
also
could try that.
Does anyone
Can I
have
make-
that
Try that if you
right
want.
now?
Let's talk about
can I
coke.
make a counter argument? I think it'd be funny if you just
yeah,
got
Coca-Cola.
a handful of Laffy Taffies and you open
Read
up the
the jokes?
wrappers and you read the jokes until people wrestle you to the ground.
That's very Andy Kaufman of him. If you would
Totally.
do that.
In other words, no matter how hard people fight you, you keep reading the fucking joke.
Are you dying?
That's a good idea.
Is this it? Do
And
we
hold
need
an
to make
ice
the
cream
call?
cone too.
I'm
Like,
calling.
Go
right
get
now.
We
your
can
brain
talk
checked
about
out.
those
Hey,
doctor's
you know what?
appointments in a little bit.
Hey, Eric and I are part owners in this shithole. I mean, the mass.
Wow, that's on record, Sean.
So we
Good
could
job,
we could
dipshit.
wrestle you to the ground.
Yeah,
As a result of being club owners, you can wrestle them to the ground.
Yeah,
and throw them
legally.
out.
There you go.
Legally. And
I don't waste my time with that. I just hope to God we make money. So the
I
more
gave-
people that can go to this show, please God.
I gave up.
See
that
my
hope
Laffy
a long
Taffy
time
show.
ago. Yeah, a Laffy Taffy show.
That's why I have to go
Like,
rehearse
in other
to
words,
make
people
sure
have
people
to
come.
fight you like you fight to the
As the
death
thunder
with that
rolls.
microphone. That's what I like
Death?
to see. Well, almost
Thunder
death.
rolls.
That's a high bar, my friend.
How about
we're
how about
very
just,
roller coaster esque. We go
Hey,
up
Sean,
and then we
I
go
didn't give
down
you
to
that
death.
cup just to sit it there.
Yeah.
Then we get really funny and then it gets down to death again.
Yeah.
What is going on tonight?
death?
I feel like I need to
sucks.
wear the antlers.
You probably do. I think
Okay.
you need to do.
Oh, hey, because I don't have to worry
satanic
about
ritual.
glasses anymore.
There you go.
There
Did you get
we go.
LASIK?
So what's next on the
No,
agenda?
I put
to
contacts
talk
in
about?
the
okay, so
eyeballs.
let's
You
move
wanted
this
to talk
goddamn
about
thing.
Old school
Taco
LASIK.
Fest real quick?
It says balls on the next.
Can
What did you want to talk about
Balls?
Taco Fest? I'm going to let you drive that.
the Taco Fest was
Oh,
my
yeah,
first
yeah.
one to go to,
Did we skip?
And
and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I got stuffed.
did anybody else go to Taco Fest? Did y'all
I
go
think
to Taco
Tony
Fest?
was there.
I mean, y'all
I
two
was
were-
there.
I did not. I was out of town, but I feel
So was Justin.
like here's the
I was
thing.
out of town as well.
Here's what I like to. Yeah, he was with me in my pants. But I would like to say, whenever there's Taco Fest or Margarita Fest, I always feel guilty. Like,
No, you
There's-
don't.
yes, I do, because I love mini tacos in this town. Mini
Speaking of,
tacos.
like-
Taco heads. I got to make I love taco heads. It used to be behind Lola's. I love taco heads. I also love salsa limon. It feels like in this town you're supposed to pick one or the other, but I feel like both tacos are equally.
Well, you would have been
delicious.
safe because neither one was represented.
Yeah, and there was plenty other taco
There were
folks there.
plenty of other
Besides
tacos.
those
None
two.
of them would have
Hey.
hated you.
And they were delicious.
The rest are sucker tacos. Those are the
Whoa,
two best
whoa,
tacos.
whoa, whoa, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, hey, hey. There's a lot of taco places you're talking about here.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go
I
with
thought
that.
you were. Are we
Sarah-
talking about taco places or Italian places? Like, are we
Sarah
talking
and
about pizza
Caesar
joints?
are both proud of me for saying that, so I'm gonna stick with that.
I think what we're gonna do, Tony, next year is we're setting up a stand.
happening? Huh?
We're gonna enter it in.
There's going to be a
next-
JJTM taco.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
great. What?
It's gonna be a taco casa with the name scratched out.
Actually,
And
I was
these
just
tacos will
about to
be,
say, I'm gonna
you know,
recommend
edible.
Taco Casa
Yes,
if
edible.
anybody's not had it.
Well, did
Yeah.
you hear what
That's
we're
the best
doing?
taco
No, I
place in
hadn't.
town.
We already gave it away.
It's
We're going to
easily
Taco
the best
Casa
taco
and buying a shit ton of tacos
And then
just
reselling
relabeling
them. Okay.
Putting our stickers on them.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
Same
sure,
wrapper.
I don't eat them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll eat
Me
the
thinks
shit out
would.
of
I would. I
Me
would.
thinks we eat all of
I
them.
would easily pay an upcharge if someone's bringing me Taco Casa tacos.
I have yet to
Easily.
meet someone that hates Taco Casa tacos.
You have not met not white people apparently.
Yeah,
Not white people.
yeah.
Yeah, I may not have asked
I don't- I
non-white
think-
people if they like Taco Casa, but I'll do that tomorrow at work.
There
I
you
don't
go.
think you've been
There's
on
more
Seaman
research to be
Street.
done, I feel.
On where?
Seminary.
Come on, Sean.
Ha.
I've
Sean.
spent a lot of time on seminary,
Sorry.
seminary in Wichita,
We're gonna have to send Sean home. I don't
seminary
know if
Wichita, and
Wow.
seminary in
gonna
Manson
send-
Highway.
Hump Hill
Everybody.
and Seminary.
You know what? I'll send a
Spent
text to
some time over there. too.
Dante right now. See
Let's
what
ask
he
Dante.
thinks.
Maybe he's in the chat room. Maybe he can tell us.
He doesn't listen to us.
Taco Fest was fun. Good job over there. You've been only talking about this for what, 6 months? I mean, when did
Yeah.
y'all start preparing Taco Fest?
A while ago.
Right after the chili cook-off.
Mm.
Well, Taco Fest was fun. I gotta say, my belly liked Taco Fest a
Mhm.
lot better than Chili Fest.
What about your butthole?
Mine
Whoa.
too.
What about
Mine
your
I'd say.
butthole? Your butthole?
Yeah, my butthole loved Taco Fest.
So who was the
Ta-
actual winner of the
I will tell you right
420
now.
Taco Fest?
I will tell you
The
right
People's
now.
Choice?
Yes.
People's Choice. It officially went to Righteous Foods,
Mhm.
All right.
and
Wait a
then
minute.
close behind it was
Wait,
Dane's.
I think you're wrong.
Sean's got a
Sean,
dispute here.
Dane's Craft Barbecue came in second, 8 points behind Righteous Foods, and then 17 points behind that was Del Norte Tacos.
All right.
Wait a
Good
second.
job,
Hold
guys.
on.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
Taco Fest or Chili Fest? He said Chili Fest.
No, I said Taco Fest.
No,
Yeah.
Chili
Okay.
Fest is
We
old.
moved on,
Chili
dude.
Cook-Off was at the
We already
beginning
covered
of,
Chili
of
Fest.
March. That was he asked when did I start working on Taco Fest.
All right, let me just say, Mark Uyghur killed it at Chili
tacos.
Fest.
He
Oh,
did kill it, and he deserved to win. That was some of the best chili I've ever had.
That was
Have-
some hot ass Fritos.
Has
in
he
there.
started whipping that up at the bar to serve?
I wish.
He needs to.
He should.
He should.
Yeah.
That's a whole new thing right there. A whole new world.
Yeah, you know, the chat room used to have the lion's share of the cigarette smoke, but now they could have the chili corner.
The whole
That'd be
chili
nice.
corner. It'd be great.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Well, like, and I mean, the fact that like Cole used to do like the kolaches off to the side, and then Sam used to come in and do the tacos. So I know Mark could definitely throw it down, but the fact that like having to do the venison and everything that he does throw it in there. No, I don't think that anyone doesn't have freezer meat to be able to contribute to that. But also, that's a whole nother food permit.
That's
to go
another
into
idea.
that.
Kolache contest.
Oh yeah.
I think they do that.
En als fucking never vindong van Sheila don't
Kobelesk.
I'm from West.
Kobeleski.
I'm from West.
Kobeleski?
I got this in the bag.
Christian.
Do you want Kobelesk? Because Kobelesk contest is possible.
We could do it.
Let's do it. So
Yeah.
Jerry Jonestown's Massacre podcast goes to
Sponsors. The Deutsche Kolache.
So we saw some cool people
That's
out
good.
there too. We ran into Tony Green.
sorry,
Yeah.
All
Sean.
right.
After
I
our
know them a
show
little
last week that everybody has jumped our ass for
Dustin Schneider.
and been like, y'all are terrible people, and they point the finger at me.
Dustin, take this.
Why am I hiding this? Why am I
No,
taking
you
this?
just want some.
At our advice, it's best
So
to move
yeah,
it that
we
way.
got to hang out with him.
Yeah, we got to hang out with him. We did some interviewing with him. I think he shot a bunch of footage with us, which is weird.
He did. I know
He
that
shot a
a lot
shit
of that is probably going to get used for maybe a spot to be able to bring. I don't know. I don't want to
keep
speak
people
for
away
anything.
from us.
What do you mean?
It'll be a warning. He'll be like, "Listen, there's these guys. Here's a picture of them. Here's some
Stay
video.
away from those
Here's
guys."
their name. Don't listen to their show anymore."
So we need to
They're
make sure that
terrible
we
people."
do a really awesome, awkward photo shoot to be able to submit for the right photo to be used for
I'm gonna
people to know who
dedicate
we
a
are.
song. I'm gonna dedicate a song to Tony Green later.
Well, technically,
You can do it right now.
with Tony Green, he's going to come in here. He said he would. After the show last week, he actually called me like immediately after the show. Thanks, Nick. And
Thanks, Nick.
Is he in the chat room right now?
we've had some chatting, some
Nick, are
talking.
you in the chat room right
and
now?
It was good. It was totally good.
Either one.
Tony's a great guy. Tony's a great guy. We had a lot of fun at Taco Fest with him. We hung out with him for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
One time, Tony was at Kent and Company, and I was trying to put up poster for a Cutthroat Finches show, and he yelled at me, and it scared me out. A little bit of pee came out.
Have you recovered from this? Have you
Yeah.
seen a therapist?
Did you
Oh,
get
yeah.
a
Did
fear
you
boner?
change
Are
your
we good to go?
pants?
A fear boner?
Well, I might have.
Okay, we're just checking.
Hey, you play your cards right. I can change these pants anytime.
See what I'm talking about every time.
Whoa.
Fear
Every time.
boners are completely natural. They happen from time to time.
We allow fear boners. On
Yeah,
this
we'll allow
show.
that, especially when it starts
Say
thundering.
okay. And then Saturday
Thunder
night
boners.
after Taco Fest was the Mean Motor Scooter EP release party, which was a fun, good time.
I had a good time while I was
I'm
there.
just gonna
Gotta
say
say,
that
go
was
ahead.
a party tonight. That night, it
I
was
gotta
fun.
say, I love that band. I
I do
really
too.
do. They honestly put on one of the most like entertaining shows that I've
They
seen
do.
around town. And then the music's phenomenal too. So it's
If you guys
go
haven't,
see Mean Motor
Yes.
Scooter for sure. If you haven't seen them,
And it was a good
go
night at
fucking
Mass.
see 'em.
It
by
was
the way,
totally a good night.
Becca and Joe are working on a video for us, like an animation kind of video for us from Mean Motor Scooter. And I would also say that the best song from Mean Motor Scooter is called Portals, and they have yet to release it. But it cry, I cry, it cries, Chewbacca cries every time I don't see it on a record because I love that song. It's so good.
Well,
Are you Chewbacca? Or is that what you're saying? Are you Chewbacca?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Let's go back to this. Are you Chewbacca?
I mean,
Hey, is that, I don't know
the
what
bottom
you're
half
trying
of
to
his
say.
face is Chewbacca.
Where'd that come from? I
On
don't know
ham
what's going on.
sandwich.
Full 180. Everybody just go see Me Motor Scooter if
Yes,
you can. They
they're
are an
amazing.
amazing band in Fort
They are.
Worth. It's quite the show.
That was a fun party. They did great that night. It was fun. Henry the Archer opened, and
Another
then,
phenomenal band as well.
Chillamundo actually kicked things off for that night. Another phenomenal band. I mean, it was a night of great bands, and then we had some Brian Breckenridge getting up there doing something.
Ripping it up.
Thor's not happy.
Talking a lot of shit on people.
Yep, talking
That
a lot
was
of
my-
shit.
That was my butt.
I wasn't ready for him to go into sharp and neo-Nazi humor, but
Well-
hey, we went there and it was
Whoa,
fun.
hey-o.
He likes to
Cutting
push
edge.
the limit.
He
on
does
that
like
a
to
What do you
push
do?
the
Like the skinhead against
Which I
racial
can
prejudice?
appreciate.
Yes.
Shout out to Brian Breckenridge.
Total
Yeah,
shout out to Brian
absolutely.
Breckenridge. Him and
job.
I had some good conversations that night.
Good job on the skinhead.
We'll
He's-
get into it
He's
later.
the
date.
Greg Girardo of Fort Worth.
He is. And then one other thing I wanted to bring up that was sent over to us, and I want to throw this out there because being the Jerry Jonestown Massacre, you know how we roll. We accept money, we accept bribes, we accept donations.
Chili
I'm not
dogs.
giving you shit.
We're no part of this collusion, but the Fort Worth Weekly Music Award nominee ballots have been rolled out.
Yay.
What?
And there's a few of them sitting in this room right now. So, if you want your band on any of these categories, you just slip us a couple of hundreds in our pocket. We're good.
Hey,
Couple
I'm
of
not going to
Benjamin.
slip you any
Accepted,
money because I
everybody.
have none.
Hey, let
But
me
I
get,
will ask you very nicely if you could maybe nominate our band for something.
We're cheap. We also
would
work
be-
for whiskey. So
I will give you a hug.
I do not
Yeah,
work
how
for
about a hug?
whiskey.
She works for weed. We work
like
for weed.
either
I do not
Cutthroat
work for the
Finches-
weekly
Probably
either, so
facilitate that. We won't talk about that on air. We'll
Okay.
talk about that when we go
Look,
smoke
you
cigarette
can
here in a
either
minute, but
nominate the Cutthroat Finches or the Cowtown Lady Boys. Either one.
It's
and
the
that's
same
still the
band.
same
It's
band.
let's
I
not
do
lie,
my
it's the
part to
same
make
band.
sure both of you guys, whenever I get the email, that both of you guys are on the ballot.
Yeah, we tried to
But I
put y'all in
try
there.
and see if I can
Avant-garde
cut
and hip-hop.
Sean out, but it doesn't allow me to cut Sean specifically out of the ballot, and that sucks.
Just do what I always do.
I've been trying to get
Cutthroat
Sean out of
Finches
the band
minus
for a long
Sean.
time.
Sons Sean.
I do think though that I mean the future of radio is in what you're doing here. So I hope that people will listen because I seriously
Scared
think
about
that like
that.
if they really
That's too
if
much
they-
pressure.
Gorilla.
no, if they really want to hear like what's happening in a particular town, like you need to know what's happening in the podcast in the
That's it.
local town.
That's
So
your call.
that's the deal. I said that shit right now.
Well, let's talk about
That's
you
the
guys.
smartest thing
Sean,
you've said tonight.
2019.
Let's spend some time talking about you guys.
I'd love to. It's my favorite subject.
Shocker.
No, not you specifically, Sean. Like maybe the band. I think is what you were talking about.
Yeah, we'll
so
talk
not
about.
just you, Sean.
That was Tony Diaz.
We'll talk
Go
about
ahead.
the Cutthroat Finches then.
It's a good move right there.
So what are you guys
It's a
up
good
to?
move. Solid.
You've released this puppy, which you brought us tonight.
That
big
sweet,
giant
sweet
vinyl.
white vinyl. By the way,
Sweet,
it
sweet
doesn't have
white
to be
vinyl.
white vinyl. It just happens to be white. It's nothing. But we're
The
working
white
on
way.
a record called we're working on an EP called, which is Extended Play. It was going to be 5 songs. I'll be honest. It's called "An Event of Moon Disaster," which was a speech. Are you guys? You guys are like. Look at these posters. You guys are space nerds.
Actually,
right?
we are space
We can
nerds
probably
sometimes.
actually find it if you Google. Can you bring this up right now? Somebody got it on the
What am I-
internet here.
The interweb.
The old interwebs.
I am partially as the token female
called
Googler
An
of the
Event-
show. I
An
am
event
actually on a
of
break
moon
right now.
disaster.
Yeah.
An event
You
of
turned me
moon
down?
disaster.
She just fell asleep.
And so this was basically it was a speech that was written that was supposed to be given if something were to go wrong with what was it
the Apollo 11.
like 11 mission
In
where they were going to the
anticipation
moon.
of something.
Yeah,
going on?
if they crash and burn and shit didn't work out,
Holy shit!
this was this was what was going to be written.
Contingency.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what if
It's a speech.
It's a yeah.
it's a speech and we can play it, but so y'all believe we went to the moon?
well,
100%.
Totally
Okay,
went
I
to
just
the
want to
moon.
make sure we're all on the same page. That,
Because if we didn't, then the Russians would
well,
have.
Tony's
No, I
rolling his
do. I
eyes.
do. I was just doing.
Was this
We
a
went to
green
the
screen?
moon.
We went
all
to the moon. We all went to the moon.
We went to the
Hello.
We went to the moon.
100%.
I think it was dramatized a
Wait,
little
do you
bit.
guys
but
not honestly believe that we went to the moon?
No,
Like,
I do.
No,
I
what are
just
you
want to make
kidding?
sure we're all in good company because there are some people that come in here like, well, the Earth is flat.
Right.
And,
I mean, it is.
and we never went to the moon.
No, it's a
Yeah, we
big
need to
dome.
redo
It's
the,
big dome
uh,
bullshit.
It's being held up by elephants.
The email,
and,
the questionnaire, like the requirements to come
do
on
you
the show.
guys think that the,
Yeah.
the
I don't
Earth
think
is flat?
we haven't had a flat earther on the show, have we?
Yes.
Who?
I feel like we hadn't had
I
a
don't
flat
know if they want me
earther
to
It
call
doesn't-
me on it.
Hey,
since
man,
the 1400s
If you
until
wanna-
2017. Like
If
it,
you want to come out
you know
there
what I
with
mean?
that
That's
kind
what
of
it
stuff,
feels like.
gap. It's like
then
The
you
huge
need
huge
to be
gap
proud of your
of
name.
time.
Yeah, it was like Galileo's
yeah,
cousin.
it was like Galileo's cousin
There's like
all the way
Columbus,
to
and then like
Buford in Tennessee in
Why are
2017
we
who,
yelling?
who works at Costco.
I'm standing
So-
a foot away from you. Why are you yelling? Hey, I do have something I want to say real quick. Since we're talking about flat Earth and you work in Denton all the time, have you seen the house? See, Tony, God
See,
is
God
mad at
knows
you.
that Earth is flat.
I
He
just
knows
got,
that
Okay.
Earth
I
is
got a little
round.
bit of
Sorry,
shit
God.
pants right there.
I apologize.
Have you seen the flat Earth
That's
house
flat.
up there in Denton?
That sounds
Yeah.
Spray
great.
painting all
Yeah.
over the place.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
sent
that's
you
right.
a picture of the cars and stuff.
I've seen
that
the
are up
car.
there. Yeah,
But I didn't see the house, and that's
Yeah.
down the street from Civil Audio.
yeah.
And I was cracking up. I was like, "Oh, there's the house. They have a
There's
little globe in the front yard that says,
Yeah.
"This is a terrible model."
There's a new dude. I think he might be involved with them that rides around on a 4-wheeler and like has sirens and stuff on it. And he posts up on corners and just starts yelling at people.
Has he yelled at you?
Is his name
I
Rain
don't know if
Man?
he's yelling.
Definitely in Denton.
Is his name
I,
Craig
mean, I
Welch?
feel like he has doubts if he's if it's that much effort into trying to disprove something. That's a lot of effort.
That's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Cruise around on a 4-wheeler. Hey,
All right.
man, y'all
Kinda
listen
sounds
to
like
me.
he's winning.
So y'all have recorded all this material,
Yes.
and y'all are going to name it in the
an event of moon disaster. Yeah.
Are all the songs moon based? Are we
Yeah,
space based?
It's basically from start to finish. It's based off of this speech, which is again, like we said, was meant to be given if shit went down. You know, like if it didn't work out the way they wanted it to work out, and they died, whatever. But from front to finish, it's basically just the story from like even almost from like the astronauts' point of view.
You want to hear the first line?
No, actually, I want you to read the whole thing.
I want
in
a
of
full
moon
dramatic.
disaster.
I want a full dramatic reading that RoboTuner can tear apart and make into a song at some point down the road.
Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace. That's already brutal.
Already fucking deep as shit, right?
These brave men,
Pretty
Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, know that there is no hope for their recovery. God.
All right, so
But they
wait,
also
wait,
know
wait,
that
no,
there is
don't-
hope
just-
for
just
mankind in their
stop,
sacrifice.
stop right there, Sean. We can ask this right now. Sean, are you okay with just going ahead and playing what we have?
Bam.
Huh? What do we have
I mean,
again?
this is a podcast.
Do you
like,
guys
we're
have
not
any song
releasing-
on there
we're not-
called
Jerry
Moonfire?
We
Jackson
actually have
Exclusive.
the outro this is read over.
Do you guys have one track called Moonfire?
we have like Daniel Bayless from the Ticket,
Yeah.
from the Hardline. Actually,
He reads this
Ray
whole thing.
Also
reads
with
the
Calhoun.
speech, and he did a great job, like trying to make it sound like period correct, like
Oh yeah.
yeah, like 60s era kind of thing. And it was like what it was. My drummer, which is my niece Drea, she found this speech. I don't know how. Like it's been in the National Archives for 60 years. So there's no reason anybody would ever look for this thing, right? And she found it somehow, and she was like, we should do a song about this, and she was so inspired. She thought it was such a monumental speech, And as I read it, I just thought, like, historically, like, what an amazing accomplishment. Like some technological feats over time, they kind of, I don't know, they fade a bit. But this one kind of seems bigger over time. Like the cell phones that we're all fucking around with on here have more power than the whole spaceship that flew people to the moon and back.
Yep.
More power
True.
than the space shuttle.
Yeah, exactly.
the space
Like,
shuttle.
which blows my mind. And when they needed to make corrections, like they had to do math, which I can't do.
Now we
Yeah.
have apps for it.
We have apps for math. But seriously, like,
Didn't
And
it's,
Texas
flying a space
Instruments
shuttle.
design most of the computers, like for a lot of
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and so
Well-
it's like calculator type technology.
right.
Yeah.
And by the way, the thing is like every Apollo mission was a build up to the lunar landing, and Apollo 11, like if it didn't go well, it was going to be on Northrop Grumman, which we'd never have heard of today because we would erase them out of history.
Yep.
You know, because their rocket failed. But the fear was like this speech was written. It was one speech written by one particular man amongst the other things because, I mean, clearly in my mind, the odds were so far against them succeeding, and yet they went anyways, which is amazing to me. Like I just think like if we're going to be proud of anything as Americans, like that is an amazing thing that makes me really proud. You know that these guys, not even proud, just it makes me admire the feat that it was for what it was in its time. It was an amazing thing because the odds were clearly against him because Nixon took the time to write a special speech in the event that these guys did not make it off the moon. So,
They were
So-
steely-eyed missile men.
How many tracks are we looking at on this?
well, it was
It's an
going to be
EP.
5 tracks, and then we wrote like 7. So we played a couple. We're gonna play a couple tonight, but one of the tracks that like we try to imagine like from a perspective of like start to finish. Like imagine if you're like like it's Sunday and Monday morning you're waking up and you're about to fly to the moon. Like how do you even sleep? First of all,
I
Like,
wouldn't sleep.
I would not either.
No,
I
I'd
wouldn't
freak out.
sleep a
I'd
month
pretty much
leading
stay awake
into
for the
that.
whole trip.
But also like how like it's hard for us to imagine in our modern age like the information that comes down like the information that was there were literally people betting in Vegas, you know, against, and most of them primarily were against these guys succeeding. Like it was a large majority. So like, you know, in that day for them to accomplish this thing was, I just think it was an amazing thing that we should
Yeah.
be proud of. I mean, not to be overly sentimental. It's just a thing that we should be proud of because these people like represent something that is great in our country and great in us, you know, like, and I don't know why. Well, anyways, I cannot imagine if it was me
Yeah.
that I would take that on.
Yeah, that's
I would
hardcore.
definitely duck out.
Yeah, I get panic head when I go to Galveston.
That is something that
I can't imagine going to the moon.
I think I screwed up my life because I feel like I should have been an astronaut.
I
Like
think so too.
anything that has to do with space or space travel, I get freaked out about.
Well, it's because of
And
Space
I just
Camp, the
wanna
movie.
do it.
Yes, basically.
You're
That's
all
what
about
changed
that.
everything,
Yeah.
was
And then
Space
what was
Camp.
it? The Explorer.
And that dumb little robot.
But why does it freak you out though?
It freaks me out
Shouldn't
like
freak
I
you
should
out.
be there.
Like in space?
Like every
you
time I
should-
saw a shuttle launch, I was like, I should be
Do
on
you
that
think
thing.
we're gonna have?
I should be on it.
There's gonna be some fatalities with the trek to Mars. There's gonna.
Oh,
it has to
absolutely.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
So
gonna
we're gonna be
I
right in the. We're gonna be watching that up
well,
front
the
and
first
close
trip
because of
is
social media,
not coming back.
Instagram, and everything.
No.
Yeah, they're not coming.
Yeah, but hold on. This is the
volunteers
thing. It's
tribute.
like the whole idea of this record was what you find out is like, so we actually contact some people that know Buzz Aldrin, which we don't have enough money to pay him to speak to give this speech. That's why Danny Bayless was very gracious and
Couldn't get Buzz, so you got Dan Bayless.
Dan
That's
Bayless
awesome.
And
to, be,
so-
to act as Walter Cronkite. on
Did
the
he
speech.
use his Buzz Aldrin voice?
No, I'm
He
serious. Like when you listen to it, you would not know it was him
Did
at
you
all.
get that? Can you
No
pull
idea.
that up?
We're trying.
I'm trying to find it. Where'd you send it to?
Jerry Jonestown at Gmail.
Okay, it hasn't come through yet.
But I think that
That's it.
I think
put it in
that
for you.
I think that the speech and everything like that, like again with the mission to Mars, what I see is like this is a world where you could hide stuff, like the fear of a nation. Like imagine, like we're all on pins and needles waiting because this is our greatness or it's our greatest failure, you know. And so it's like when Mars happens, which it will happen, like you know, like it just blows my mind, like that in our kids' generation, like there will be people that live on Mars.
to live off planet.
They will live off planet. Like that will be our kids. Like that could not be imagined
engineers and scientists.
So-
engineers and scientists. So
We
it's
gotta,
like, but
way ahead of
but
we gotta
secret-
live off.
it's gonna
We
take a
gotta live
long-
on the
it's
moon
gonna take
first.
I know, I know.
More
generation for
grandkids
this
and
to
great
actually
grandkids.
And I
to be
know-
honest.
but
I
we have a
know
better
that-
chance of living on Mars than the moon. And what this
Why?
tells us,
How do we
No,
have a
we
better
don't.
chance?
Not now.
It's a lot closer to get to the moon, and we already know on the backside
and-
that there's Israeli moon bases.
Oh, and Mars is actually
There
like a
must have been
shit
another
place to
episode I
live.
missed.
I
Let's
think
let's look at that. I don't think Mars is really going to be our destination. I think Mars is just a
Stepping
test
stone.
to see what we can really fucking accomplish. It's not going to be like, oh, we want to go populate Mars. That's ridiculous. I think we're trying to get beyond this galaxy. I think we're trying to find other
Maybe the
worlds
solar
out
Whoa.
there
system.
that.
I think the
easy,
solar
Arthur C.
system-
Clarke.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean,
I
nobody's
think
disagreeing. I don't think, but. I don't
No,
think
yeah, we're gonna
Mar- I
keep.
don't
It's
think-
in
I
our
don't think-
nature.
I
It's
don't
in
think
our.
Mars is.
We're
our
designed
end
to
game.
explore and
is what
keep
I'm
going.
saying.
So if we did get to Mars, we wouldn't be stopping there for sure.
But what will also be true is that if the American way is to pretend like we are 100% confident of things, and then secretly people are like, "Oh my God, like there's no way this is going to happen. They're going to
Yeah.
crash into the planet and blow up."
Well, that
Yeah,
might
there's going
happen
to be a
couple
lot of spin.
months.
How long is this outro?
It's about 2 minutes.
You want to hear it? I
Sure.
got it now. Now that you sent it to me,
Yeah,
you want to
go
hear
ahead.
it? I want to hear what Danny does on this.
Space.
Here we go.
That's Mr. Daniel Bayless, sir.
Oh. Let's see here. Is it coming?
You heard it first here.
Oh, this is so absolutely first.
Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace. These brave men, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, know that there is no hope for their recovery. But they also know that there is hope for mankind in their sacrifice. These two men are laying down their lives in mankind's most noble goal, the search for truth and understanding. They will be mourned by their families and friends. They will be mourned by their nation. They will be mourned by the people of the world. They will be mourned by a Mother Earth that dared send two of her sons into the unknown. In their exploration, they stirred the people of the world to feel as one. In their sacrifice, they bind more tightly the brotherhood of man. In ancient days, men looked at stars and saw their heroes in the constellations. In modern times, we do much the same, but our heroes are epic men of flesh and blood. Others will follow and surely find their way home. Man's search will not be denied, but these men were the first, and they will remain the foremost in our hearts. For every human being who looks up at the moon in the nights to come will know there is some corner of another world that is forever mankind.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty
Yeah.
fucking rad.
I feel like
It's pretty
that
cool.
speech is in one of the exhibits at Kennedy.
Is it?
It has to be over at Atlantis. It
You know,
has to
you know what's funny is when we sent this
Google.
to some people, like we were looking for, like different types of like ways to utilize this and make the most of it. Obviously, as a band, like you're trying to figure out any creative ways, just like you guys are. Like how can we make this of value to somebody bigger than us that has a ton of money and an empty checkbook? But
That's exactly what we think every
Yeah.
day.
Anybody out there have an empty
You
checkbook?
got a checkbook?
yes, so like as we were thinking about it, I talked to a few people, and a certain person like out here in Fort Worth was like, "Well, I know Buzz Aldrin. I could send this to him," and I was just like, "Oh my gosh."
That would freak me the fuck out.
Like,
Done.
like if I could drive down to his house and just get his, and you know, what's funny? What he said though was, I wonder if he ever even heard the speech. I was like, why would he have heard this? Like, this has been in the National Archives for the last 40 or 50 years. Like, why would
Like an audio version, or
no,
do you
just
think
a-
do you think
it's
he's
just-
never even
I,
read it?
I literally have a scanned copy of the printed speech.
Like that handwritten.
So
shit.
you don't think that he's
Typed.
ever heard of this speech?
Like
Like he
that-
had to have.
They
That-
had to train
had to
them
know
for
that.
whatever. And you know
yeah,
what's
but why would they share this with them? Like imagine 1960s propaganda and politics. Why would they share this speech with the people that they were dependent on to beat the Russians? Essentially, there's no reason they would have.
Well, do you know there was a contingency plan if they came back that, well, actually, they were supposed to stay. They had to sign over that they were going to live underground, like 7 stories down in Houston, if they found bacteria, like some kind of weird bacteria or
Yeah.
something. So they had to sign over to NASA, letting them know that you're going to spend the rest of your life down there if we find something. You just got to be okay with that. And
Sure.
so they did a lot of weird things back then they make sense. They had to.
Yeah.
They had to,
There was the suicide pills that they packed with the astronauts just in case.
like cyanide pills or something.
Cyanide.
did pass them,
Okay,
yeah.
because if a window broke out, that they could bite into the capsule and die. Or
Well,
Yeah.
and again, the North, like if you study the Apollo missions,
some of
it's like
those?
they're all
I
phased.
don't. I
like,
didn't bring it. I'm sorry. Damn.
like everything was phased. Right? Like every Apollo mission was another add-on
Yeah.
to do this thing, but it was kind of like
Well, it's kind of like what's going on with SpaceX.
Yeah.
We keep taking these steps. and
steps. Exactly.
It's
But I think the thing is that the space endeavor, the endeavor for humanity to go in space to traverse the solar system and beyond, was going to be limited so long as it was held within a government agency. I think that it needed to branch out into
private. The
Private.
private
into
one.
the private sector so that different people could imbue different ideas into it. So that way you get just like American industry, there's a wide variety of different industries, and I think that can translate towards how we utilize space,
So
Yeah.
I think that
how we utilize traversing it, and then to speak to your or your actually going to Mars and beyond. At some point, not now, not in our lifetimes, maybe not even in our grandchildren's lifetimes, but at some point, we're going to probably get off the planet and probably populate habitable, at least, or something that we can terraform or make habitable, at least, man-made. We're going to start to populate different parts of our own solar system,
Yeah.
and there's going to have to be something sustainable. Like I was watching, what's it called, The Expanse, the television show The Expanse. It's really interesting. A lot of that stuff is kind of like, all right, it's a stretch. But the preface of it is
I don't
really,
know what that is.
it's a show that talks about Earth in the future, where Mars is a sovereign planet, and like the Kuiper Belt.
what is this a Netflix
It's like
thing?
on sci-fi
Sci-fi?
or something like that. But anyway, there are mining colonies on the Kuiper Belt, which is the asteroids and all that stuff like that. And it's like it talks about how human beings in the future, not the near future, but in the distant future or whatever, have been able to populate various aspects and areas of the solar system, and how they interact with each other. And it's funny because it's the Mars Earth thing reminds me a lot of America in the 1700s to Britain. Like, hey, you're going to take orders from us there on Mars, and Mars is like, excuse me, well, why should we do that?
We're
so-
Martians now.
yeah, we're self-sufficient,
Yeah.
and we don't really need you anymore. So we'll just do our own thing, and you guys just do your own Earth thing. And ever since then, there's just kind of been, it's interesting. But I think the thing is that the human endeavor calls for us to do something like that. I don't know that it's going to be that, like I just laid out, but and if we do that, science is going to play a big role. Industry, most certainly, and commerce is going to play a big role because it has to be funded. And so it is realistic that it can happen. It may not even happen how we imagine it, but I think it's going to happen because we get cabin fever really
The
fast.
thing, you know what I
as
think the
humans.
race is? Is the race is not between the companies that are these private companies that are trying to get there the quickest, and it's not the between countries, between us and China and Russia. Honestly, this is a scary fact, or not? It's not a fact. It's my theory. I think the race is get up there before the world is imploded. Is what
Yeah.
I think the real race is.
You think
Is
so?
try to
think
get up there
I think
because
that's a dark way to say it.
But I think that's what it
is. I agree.
I think we all know that, like,
we're circling the drain.
We are yeah,
Some
exactly.
say the end is near.
Basically, So yeah, I mean,
The end
I
is
don't
near,
think
the end
that's
is
like
near.
the rate. We need to get up there as soon as
Some
possible. But I
say
do
we'll
think
see
that like it
Armageddon
is
soon.
inevitable.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
we are going to milk this planet of all its damn resources
Certainly
at
hope we
some
will.
point.
I mean,
At
what was
some
the
point.
population in the 50s versus now?
Jeez,
It was
I
like
don't know.
5 or
It's-
6. It was
it's a-
6 billion, maybe.
I don't have any idea,
No,
man.
back
Maybe
in the
5?
50s,
Like
back in the
maybe
50s,
5 billion?
back in the 50s,
I have a comment.
it was like
When you wanna
three and a
recognize me.
half to 4 billion.
Oh, and now it's almost 8.
doubled
Yeah, it's
since
almost
the
8.
50s,
Exactly.
just in that short period of time. So, who's to say that's not going to be doubled in another 50 years, and we can't sustain it?
One of the things that creeps me out about that speech, going back to this Apollo 11, is that it says 2 of them are being left behind.
Yeah.
So Michael Collins had to be like, "Peace out, bros. I'm flying this shit back without y'all."
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just orbiting, like
Yeah.
literally orbiting,
Yeah.
like,
And he's
just
like,
has
"I'm
to
gone."
Decide,
Y'all
like,
find an
Peace
Uber.
out.
Yeah.
There is
Sorry.
there is no like. It's one of those things like I feel like we're a society that like expects safety nets,
Yeah.
and there was no safety net. Like that was one of the few times where America went up with no safety net, no test. There's no way to test it. Like Northrop Grumman was on the deal to make this happen or fail. I also think like what I loved about it was more than the. I mean like I said, it seems like an amazing feat, but I also think that like in today's political environment, the way that we talk to each other,
You couldn't do it.
you couldn't like. And I think it's like that's what makes it more amazing is more than the technical aspect, which is amazing.
Just the communication
The people
barriers
aspect.
that we had to get over too.
Yes,
Like we didn't
because-
have computers. I mean, we did, but they weren't like they are now.
Well, and
But also you're talking about a project that is bigger than politics and bigger than the things that will easily divide us like sheep. You
But
know,
that's-
like
Well, and that's why they're saying it hasn't been done again, is because A, it would cost way too much these days, and that
I don't know if it's
what the fuck?
goddamn Tony.
Yeah,
I want to hear. I was playing for Sean. Such a
I think-
beautiful speech.
but they
we still
they
work with
don't-
other countries that like
we still
ISS
work with other
is
countries, but they say
a
that
collaboration.
that rocket would cost way too much. The Saturn V rocket would cost way too much
yeah,
these
it's
days.
ridiculous. Just the fuel.
The cost
Well,
of it.
I mean, everybody was
on its
behind
own.
was
Yeah.
behind the
the
funding and the
US
building
Well,
of it.
I find
no,
it-
the
I find it
U.S. was
funny.
behind it.
Well,
Not
I mean-
everybody in the world.
I'm not saying everybody in the world. I'm saying everybody in
the
the United
U.S.
States.
was behind it, and they had to make a big deal out of it.
Just think about this: like the U.S. and Russia work together so much on space exploration and have for a long
Now
time.
they do.
Yeah,
But
as a
back in
result of the shuttle
69,
program going
but
there.
Between
dodo.
65
But
and
beyond-
74,
I know,
they didn't
I
give
know.
a it was a race.
It was
no,
a
I
rat race.
understand that, but beyond that, like if you bring it back down to Earth perspective, like we're supposed to hate Russia.
Oh
You know,
no!
we're supposed to be, like,
Nowadays,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
everybody
Like,
works together. I mean, that's
so
how
why
all
can't-
our guys get to the space station is because they launch out of Kazakhstan.
Yeah, well, but that's my point. It's like, why do we work so well with Russia on space exploration and the development of all of that? If that wasn't as important as it needs to be, which I think it is, then there's obviously something greater that we're trying to accomplish. Because on the surface, on Earth, we're supposed to hate Russia. Does that make sense?
I don't
Like,
hate
am I-
Russia.
I don't
Hold
hate
on.
Russia.
No, but
Am I making sense
you know
on
what
that?
it comes down to is like you think about like growing up for me at least. Okay, so I'm older than most of you in here, except for Tony.
Except for Tony.
But imagine that like there's like 2 versions of the future, right? One is Mad Max, Star Wars, like this desolate, tore
I'm a
up, whatever.
fucking Mandalorian.
And then there's only one show that was about mankind becoming something greater than itself in its day, which was Star Trek. My dad worked on Star Trek. He was like a props guy on Star Trek. Not to brag, but he was a Star Trek.
Reefer
he was-
Madness as well.
So he's responsible for the phaser.
You know what? I think
He did
he's right.
he did the
tribbles?
titles
Oh,
and also the what do you call it? When you transport, teletransport. He did the fishbowl and the glitter and all that stuff to make people transport. But I think like what's funny is like everybody like when he tells a story about it and he's gone around and spoken to people and about this thing, a lot of the Trekkies who love to hear the stories about Roddenberry. And what he tells is like everybody made fun of him of Roddenberry's idea because it was ridiculous. It was
Right.
like this idea that like
the same thing with
this
Lucas.
greater good,
Yeah.
that was It was the only like future utopian thing that was like something that was better than what we were. Every other, if you think about every other movie, every other sci-fi thing, from Krull, which is in 3D, to
The Black Hole, which they're
Roll.
remaking.
3D.
like every other show was always this like
Roll.
dystopian society. But this one thing, which is Star Trek, was mankind getting past its petty bullshit and making something greater than itself.
That's true.
And
Until
you know,
they ran into Klingons.
well,
and then it was
but
war.
that isn't
Hey.
humans, though. There's
that's not humans' fault. That's
They're
Klingons'
like-
fault.
They're like Russians.
Well,
Well,
yeah, but
it's
they're
funny
way
because
further away.
It's funny because Gene Roddenberry, was the way that he kind of modeled a lot of his aliens, or at least some of them, was he mirrored what was going on at the time, and the Russians, were supposed to be this Cossack type race that was very
Whoa.
You
They're a
know-
motorcycle gang?
no, they're very just uncivilized and Cossack and Russian and
There you said it again.
that's what he was trying to do, and he was trying to. But he also had episodes like, I forgot the episode where, the guy that played the Riddler in the Batman '60 show, I can't remember the actor's name.
Jim Carrey.
Caesar Romero.
No, that was
I like
the
that.
Joker.
Caesar Romero was
was
the
the Joker.
Okay.
But this guy, there was an episode in Star Trek where half the planet was split in black and white on their face, and the black was on the left
Oh
side.
man.
And then the other side of the planet, the black and white that was on either side was the different color was on the other
Opposite.
side. Yeah, and they were fighting each other, and it was kind of like
That'd be a confusing war, man.
well, but
What
it
side
was
is
a
this,
social
Frank
commentary that Gene Roddenberry was
Gorshin?
trying to make.
Has he got his black on
Gene
the left
Rod-
face? Or
Was
the right
it
face?
Frank
Right.
Gorshin?
Frank
I
Gorshin?
think that's him.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy from The
Confusing?
Riddler.
That's it. That's it.
Riddler?
You nailed it.
Yeah.
That's it. Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Wikipedia.
It'd be like,
Wikipedia, you did it.
wait, are
It
we
seems
friends
like- Jesse,
because
she
this
did
is
it too.
stage left?
And
Or
it's-
is that
Anyway,
stage right?
well,
What
what
is
I'm
stage
saying
left?
is
Which
that
is stage left?
Roddenberry,
Your left,
to
my
his
right?
point,
Hey.
Roddenberry was trying to do a social
You're right.
commentary
You go out with a big mirror.
on
War's
the
over.
the differences of color of
The
skin
big rain's
and
coming
how
this way.
unimportant it was in terms of the character that you have as a person. And so
he also had the
but
theory
that
that
was
if you
really
go
really
back in
important
time
show.
and get some whales and then bring them to your time,
Here we go.
it would
Star
save
Trek
the planet.
By the way, my first kiss at Star Trek 4. No
Jesus
big deal.
fucking Christ, Sean.
I'm gonna say my first kiss.
Weather
Was,
moving in.
I like undiscovered
Weather
country.
moving in.
I'm gonna say my first kiss was,
honest, it was
Dirty
weird.
Dancing. Thank you, Dirty Dancing. Thank you,
Oh,
Dirty
we're gonna-
Dancing. First kiss.
All right, so this
Did
EP.
you have the time of your
Let's get
life?
back into the gust of things.
I know
This
I have to
EP,
leave soon.
This EP, PP,
Your
that y'all
PP.
made longer. When is it? When are we gonna hear it? When's it gonna be
June.
released?
Sean's a bit of a
June.
drinker.
I'm going to say July just to
July.
not disappoint people, but
Because you got to include naps.
true.
Well, Sean definitely has to.
And
include
tacos.
I'm
He's
getting old.
We are.
But so we're playing Friday on the Green. So we're playing Mass, which Eric and I are part owners in.
Yeah, how'd y'all get that gig?
It used to be called the El Remy, which is the Latino drag club.
Not owning it. I meant playing there. How'd y'all get to play there? That's
Oh,
so
great.
crazy.
What it was is June the 8th is our 2-year anniversary at Mass, which Eric and I are both owners in, along with 172 other musicians.
Aldridge and a
from
bunch of other people.
Yes.
Y'all need some podcast investors so
Oh,
that
yeah,
we can
yeah.
just knock it up to about
TJ.
200 people that
We
own it.
just honestly,
John.
we just want to see the goddamn thing stay open and have a great place for bands to play.
You've got a
That's
great place for
the-
bands to play.
Did y'all
That's
just
right.
recently come on as owners?
No,
No.
we were the
Y'all been on?
OGs.
Y'all been on since day one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eric and I helped build the stage that used to be a drag strip at the El Remy.
Yeah, I actually
Nice.
did do that.
Also,
the-
I want
the-
to say Wayne Floyd invented a drink called the El Remy.
Hey.
The drink involves horchata,
Uh-oh.
fireball,
Shit.
You mean
and
horchata?
Goshlaga.
Good
Lord.
Lord.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
My
The
belly
next
doesn't
day.
like that. Mine,
Sounds like a
I'm
roller
sure it's
coaster.
glorious that night.
It's called the Winner's Cup.
Yeah.
Also,
Do you get a badge if you drink it?
You do.
You should.
does my name get to be put on a wall?
I
Yeah,
mean, you
man.
They
literally
should
have
make
to have
They
intestinal
should make
fortitude
one of the big
for
wall
that. Like,
posters
literally
designated
intestinal
to the El
fortitude.
Remy
Yes.
winners.
Yeah. It just says this
Make it
asshole
happen.
dared to drink this.
I know Georgie can make something look real badass for that. So.
But all the names are written with Sharpies in a tramp stamp position that says, "Well done, sir." And it's just like your butt.
So you.
Slancha.
Oh, okay, that works. That's what it should be. The previous drinkers all sign the new person's butt, and it just gradually goes. So
Like a centipede.
yeah, in a few years, someone's got their entire.
And there's
bag
the
full of
business model
signatures.
right there, guys.
And I
Bam.
think the business
That-
model is
It's
just
a
start
fucking think tank.
just
We
get
st-
people to go to the
we
shows.
talk about how
I
much
bet.
is a think
Dude,
tank.
totally it is.
We should start a
You
bar
kidding?
called the Centipede.
The
Drink the
human-
drinks
centipede.
and come to the shows.
Or
That's it.
you only have
I
to
like
pay
that
cover,
stance.
but you have to be attached to the person behind
Yeah.
you to get in free.
Yeah.
What's
That's
the
You know what I
what
love
I
about
mean.
Mass? I'm gonna tell you, I love
What's the place behind y'all?
The electric
The,
cowboy.
the milk plant.
the milk,
Milk plant.
Vandervorts.
Vandervoort.
And divorce.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Leslie's-
There was a big discussion about
Leslie's
this milk
Sports
plant the
Bar?
other day.
And Escobaro's
Leslie's.
garage.
I mean, if
Leslie's
y'all want to make
Sports Bar.
Russian, yeah,
Can't
White
hear me,
Russians,
Can you, Dustin?
y'all
I
got
mean,
that
we
for
do, I
days.
think.
For days, y'all can make White Russians. Vandervorts is right there
So what I want to
We
do
got that
is
shit on
we
tap.
buy that bar.
on lockdown, yo.
Leslie's we buy, and we turn it into the Centipede.
Oh,
We're right behind
y'all.
What?
And we'll do a relationship like the caves and
Rainbow.
You know,
Yeah.
Rainbow lamp.
Yeah.
Sunshine Dust.
what, hey,
Same.
what I would
Business
Rainbow.
model.
I want caves
My
and
bad.
sunshine in my town right now.
Yes,
Like
needs to be.
seriously,
So
right
that's
Get
what
them
we're gonna do.
confused sometimes.
We're gonna buy the Leslie,
get it on.
and
You
we're
heard
gonna
it
turn it into
first.
the Human Centipede.
You heard it first here on the Jerry
This is a
Jonestown Massacre. everybody.
Terrible business plan and
It's
a terrible
terrible.
name.
The
but-
Southside Centipede.
I got some capital I'll throw in there.
I could see some angel investors go, "Do you actually have numbers with this business plan?" Or,
What I-
no,
what I
take
would-
another
You
shot.
don't understand. It's going to be like from the front and to the back. It's going to be connected. Don't whisper so loud.
That's all you hear. Just kill
It's
me.
gonna be, there's going to be an exit and stuff. It's going
It's
to
gonna
be
an
awesome.
entrance.
all this space talk is making her want to shoot
We're gonna
herself
have
in the brain.
beers.
What are you throwing around?
The top
Oh.
to that Coke.
The top
Yeah, I
two.
can't wait to hear that at the bank.
Oh.
All right. So business plan is starting to roll. We'll get this going.
All right.
Centipede.
We'll do podcasts from there every other night. We can have all our podcast friends come do their podcast from the Human Centipede.
So the EP.
You enter through the butt. So the EP we're going to see in
Okay.
July.
Yes. It's going to be in July, so we're going to release it. We're trying to, like, what I hoped was we're with Hand Drawn Records, so we're hoping to press it on vinyl and make it a, make it a special vinyl that's like etched with a moon on one side.
Does Dustin have to have a lot of talks with y'all?
Yes, he has to talk us down off the fucking mountain.
A lot of talks with you guys.
The thing is like I think, like what I really want is like for it to be like collector vinyl.
Dustin's like,
You
I
shut
talked
up.
to you about that, Sean. Remember?
So,
Mm-mm.
what
Yeah,
I think
it's-
like I
it's
think vinyl. What I love about
They're coming
vinyl,
for
like
you,
when I was a
Barbara.
kid, the first vinyl record I ever bought was Kiss Destroyer. And
Yes!
the only reason I bought the record, and I cannot believe my Christian mom allowed me to buy it, was because they look so badass on the mountain of trash,
are
which is now
badass.
known as Detroit, basically.
Jeez.
Detroit
Well,
Rock City.
sorry to all our Detroit listeners out there.
But seriously, like
Eminem, we apologize.
like vinyl records, I caught the very, very tail end of it, and it's just like there's so much that you get to say about your band on a vinyl record, and you don't get to say like I think young people are missing out big time. Like all
For
they
sure.
all they know about a band is a
Yeah.
little 2-inch square on their
Thumbnail.
cell phone screen.
Yeah, on
a
their
thumbnail.
cell phone.
They have no
Yeah.
idea who the band is, where they're from, like what they're about. They don't even care. Like there's no connection to music. And it's
Right.
like when you buy a vinyl record, and the people that have been buying our vinyl records and have been buying records from Hand Drawn have been people that like they miss that connection. Like I mean, a lot of them are older, but then a lot of them are really young.
I
Yeah.
miss it.
Yeah, it's like think about like when you open up a record and it's like it told you everything that you wanted to know about that band, all their lyrics, these images.
Yeah.
Like I remember the Queen record with the giant robot. You know, like I don't like I still think about that record cover, you know, and I think like you know like it made me believe something about the record. I don't even know if it was true or not, but it will always be the way every time I hear any song from that record, I think of that image of that giant robot.
Yeah.
Or Mental Health, like with Quiet
Yeah.
Riot. It was so cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like... You
The
just
Twisted Sister record too. Was
Yes.
it Burning Hell or what? The one where he's in the corner.
he's eating the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's eating like a turkey leg
Yeah.
from the Six Flags,
Yeah.
you know, or the Texas State Fair. Like, he's like...
You know what's crazy is my first record was Michael Jackson Thriller. It was my
Oh, yeah.
first vinyl I ever got. And I used to stare at that thing, just like you're talking about, for hours, just reading everything I could that was involved in it and all this. But in the imagery, Michael Jackson had it like his hand like this, his veins. Like I don't know if it started getting censored on the later pressings, but the one that my parents got, you could see both of it, like whatever this is, his tendons and stuff, perfectly. And I was like, I would just stare at them, like, man,
I wish I had tendons like that.
his
I wish
veins,
he had veins like that.
his tendons and veins are about to bust out of his arm.
I wonder if he's a
I
user.
hope that-
Yeah, it was weird.
but not
but
like Ren and
see-
Stimpy, where the veins are like above the.
But getting back to what you're saying
That's
though,
so weird.
is
That's a great
that's
show,
the
by the
thing.
way.
I did that with so many albums. I would just sit anytime I got anything new, even with CDs. I would just sit there for hours in my room and just almost till I got a headache just reading whatever I could over and
Yeah.
over again. And now kids it's just like you said. It's on Spotify, and then they'll go Google and then YouTube and see what they can find, and that's about it. There's
Well,
no
I don't-
physical
Yeah.
copy that they get to hang on
I don't
to.
think that this is a new conversation that nobody's ever had. Let's
No,
be
it's
honest.
not. But you know, but here's the
Hold
state
on.
of music. Here's the state of music.
My point.
I just got a text from Justin. He told me to tell you to stop. Just stop.
So here's the thing I'll say is that listen, in 2017, like almost half of all the profit from all the music business, every song ever sold came from vinyl records,
Mm-hmm.
which is mind blowing.
Last year it outdrew digital sales.
Vinyl.
It
Good.
did.
Vinyl did. Vinyl
But-
outsold digital.
And the thing
First
is
time
that
ever.
you're also not talking about
digital-
a massive amount of records, but what you're talking about is you're talking about like a group of people who have decided that music, like they want to connect with the music that they buy, and I love that. Like, so it's like I want to pander to those people, like the
Yeah.
people that they want something more than what's on Spotify or this more that's on iTunes. They want a story. They want to know the back thing. They want to know who the people are that played in the band. And so, like, you know, it's like that mattered to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It mattered. It was everything when I was a kid. You know, I didn't know the Cars all wore wigs back in the day because they were so fucking ugly and had lice or whatever was happening with their hair. But like that record made me believe about them whatever
Did they
they
really have
wanted to
lice?
sell. I don't know if that's true. That was a rumor
Cars had lice.
on MySpace.
Lice.
Personally, I like.
But look, there's a
That's
poster
right.
in there. Pull that out. Look at
Yes.
that.
Look at this.
See, look.
That's awesome.
See?
Nice.
Look at these.
Say like I want people to like want to know
Put
what
that
we're
on their
trying to
wall.
say and who we are. You
I
know.
mean, it's the full
cool.
treatment from the
It-
'70s,
Look,
man.
it's not the
Well,
Farrah
look at what
Fawcett
it
bathing
says.
suit pose.
No, just
no,
read what
it's
that
fine,
says.
though.
Listeners who hear, which
Yeah,
is what you're
that's
hitting
it,
on.
dude.
Yes.
That's it.
You
That's
want
it,
people
Papa.
to listen to this.
That's right. I want people to get what we're doing, and I think people that buy vinyl records, they're looking for that kind of connection. They're not looking for one single that is cool and that is 3 minutes of greatness.
No.
Like they're looking for something that makes.
They want to
wanna
invest their
listen to the
time
track.
into the
Yes.
full album, the full
Yeah.
story you're telling as far as an album is concerned.
Well, you know, when the vinyl craze took off, I told my wife that I was going to do. Holy
Whoa.
shit, that's heavy. I told her I was going to do one thing. I was going to buy all the vinyls that meant something to me.
right?
That lasted about 2 months. 3
No,
months.
but it's a
about
good sentiment, though.
$600.
Because listen,
I'm gonna
there's a
tell-
lot of albums that you like,
Look,
but the ones where you're willing to make the investment in buying an album,
White vinyl?
like buying a
Ooh.
vinyl album, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
It's a very pretty.
yeah, when
album.
you and I were kids, Sean, there's a lot of tapes and CDs, or when we were all kids, we had tapes and CDs we liked. But if you were to say, you know, now I have a little disposable income, and I'm gonna go buy some albums like vinyl just to have it because of the sweetness of what vinyl is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That selection becomes more selective. It's not like you're gonna go buy everything from your child. I'm not gonna buy Seven in the Ragged Tiger from Duran Duran if I know that I can
Yeah.
have, you know, a Genesis album. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a difference.
I don't know about all that.
Oh, you know
We
it.
just need to tap the brakes.
You
there,
know
buddy.
what it
You need
is.
to tap the brakes. So I want to talk about the
Dance
artwork
with
on this
me.
album.
Yes, from Mr.
Oh.
Matt Cliff.
He's difficult to work with, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's a ginger, but still easy to work.
I know. He's soulless. But
Is he soulless, really?
look at
Hey,
this guy.
welcome
Wet
back,
t-shirt
Eric.
Is that
contest.
confirmed?
He's soulless
Look at Captain
because he's a
Titties.
ginger. Nice wet t-shirt contest. You go outside for 2 seconds and
Sweet,
it's
baby.
pouring.
Hey,
Terrible.
It's hot.
Who's
No,
got
he
chub?
brought us
Come
that.
here. Come here. Come get
Oh,
this dollar.
yeah, that does. Yeah, that
Hey,
definitely is his work.
Matt,
Come get this
Matt,
dollar bill with your teeth. Come here.
You know what it is? Like
Matt
Matt's,
Cliff is an amazing dude. He does some
Yeah.
great artwork, and
you know, let me just say this about Matt that I would say for artwork is that first of all, he did the artwork with Eric is in Jeddah and the Ghost Tree. So Matt had done artwork with Jeddah and the Ghost Tree, and then so he told me about him, and I literally sent him a few songs and I was just like first listen, if you want to take on this project, just listen first. And I like in my mind, I was thinking 1984 was a record because it's like once
Van Halen.
we recorded more songs than are on this record that will never probably be released because some of them I fucking hate. They're terrible that I wrote. But like once we pared down the songs that we felt the best about that were honest, the most honest songs, it was like they were. It's not that they were political, like on a particular side. It's just that they were political in nature. So it's like it was just about like the state of where we are and where we're going and how dangerous it is. And all I could think about was 1984. And so it's like all this imagery. I was looking at all these book covers. So Matt Cliff just listens to about 5 of the songs and he comes up with that cover art for the record. And like he was looking at, like he gave this explanation of it. And I just thought to myself, like, how great is it to have an artist that really gets what you're saying? Like, I mean, right off the bat, gets what you're saying. And again, it's not that it's trying to be preachy in some way politically to one side or the other. It's just more about the dangers of like where we are and what we have forgotten, because it seems like we are masters of forgetting our own history. Like all the things that we need to learn that would make us better, we seem to forget and make disappear. And that record is like just going back to thinking about those things, and Matt Cliff got that right off the bat. I mean, without me explaining anything, he didn't even know me at all. I mean, like I don't know Matt at all at the time. I'd never even met him when I sent him the artwork. And it was like the first bits of art, I was like, I understood exactly what he was doing, and he understood exactly what I was trying to say, which was amazing. So
this summer's release, I guess you're taking back to him to do the artwork.
we might. I haven't
I
talked
think you
to him
just
yet.
sold yourself.
I know. I just sold it so hard.
Yeah.
But I do think like I've been looking at all, like I have this Pinterest board. Like my wife like looks at Pinterest. Her name is Honey, by the way.
Hey, honey.
Yeah,
howdy, honey.
exactly. That's really her name. That's really her name. I thought it was made up. You know, just like she was trying to blow me off, not interested kind
Yeah.
of thing. That's really her name. But Honey was like she's like a Pinterest fanatic.
Yeah.
She has all these like boards, like I'm talking thousands of images. So I started looking at like Russian propaganda and American propaganda from Cold War era, and I think it's so awesome.
I
And-
love Cold War era. And you're
Yeah.
It
fun
looks so
on here.
cool.
You're doing it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's a mix, but it's like it's also funny that because of posting that and because of being a fan of certain
was
political
close.
views, the amount of shit that I get like on Facebook, like I have tried to stay away from saying anything politically, but it's like no matter how hard
Get
I
drawn
try.
in. Yeah.
I get the beat down from everybody that I've ever met in my life, like because they make assumptions about what they think that I think, you know. So, you know, not that I'm a victim, but I'm just saying, I don't even care. It's just, I just think it's sad that we're in the state